Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Oakley, and I don't know when you're watching this, but as of me uploading this, I believe we have like 30-ish days until the end of the 2020 election. And I say the end of because you can vote right now. In a lot of states, you can vote early, you can vote by mail, you can go deliver your ballot, you can make sure your vote is counted. You do not have to wait until November 3rd itself. That's just the last day for voting. So the election is currently happening, so go vote now. Now back in 2016, I loved spending my time feeling like I was talking to people about voting. I would go to swing states, I would go to college campuses, I would register people to vote, I would make sure they knew what was going on. In 2020, it's different. Obviously, with like the quarantine, we can't go door to door. We can't do the outreach that we're normally used to. But there are still so many ways to get involved, whether it's phone banking or texting or donating to campaigns. But I firmly believe the number one thing you can do is connect with people in your life and make sure that they have a voting plan. Now, studies show that making a plan to vote increases your odds of voting exponentially. When you make a plan, you're gonna do it. So before we get into the video, I wanna know, what is your plan to vote? Let me know in the comments. Are you voting by mail? Are you voting in person the day of? Are you voting early? What is the game plan? Let me know. And so today, I wanted to connect with a few people in my life that I absolutely adore and see their experiences with voting, maybe how they're feeling right now, and see if they've got a plan for the 2020 election. Hello!
Well, hey, sweetie.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Great, how are you? Long time no see.
I know, it's been a minute. For everyone at home that might not know you, will you please introduce yourself?
I'm Miles McKenna. I'm the biggest Tyler Oakley stan, and he thinks you are.
Shut up, don't even.
My name is Riley Nunes. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Rhode Island, of all places. And Tyler and I know each other because I was a fan account for him on Twitter for 4 years. Tyler's Cactus.
I am the large and in charge, chunky yet funky, best known from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 4, All-Stars 1 and 4.
If y'all at home don't know Latrice Royale, you have a lot of homework to do because Latrice Royale is one of the best drag queens I love. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Of course, absolutely.
Hey, baby.
You're giving me glamour right now.
I meant to make a shirt that says vote.
You know
but
what?
I
It's the
forgot.
thought that counts.
I know, and then I was thinking maybe I should have a hat that says vote. But then I was like, no, I'm too lazy. I'm not doing it.
Mom, that is not the energy we need right now. We need...
I know!
So how are you gonna be fixing that? I need you to be leading the charge in Michigan. Hello, it's a swing state.
Oh, I think we got it. You should see how many Biden signs are. I ordered my Biden sign.
Cool. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You gotta get people to the polls, honey.
Honey, I know.
How old are you? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, I'm 24.
So have you voted before?
I did. My first election was the dreaded election. So I don't know how well my voting was. You know, I voted, but it didn't do much. So I don't have the best track record here.
Listen, no, your track record is great because you actually went and voted. That's what matters. Back in 2013, you were how old?
12, 13.
Oh, you were watching things that you shouldn't have been watching of mine, I'm sure. Inappropriate.
We all were. It's fine.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is gonna be your very first election that you are voting in.
Yes. The whole idea of it is like scary because it's like, whoa, this is a big decision that I'm helping to participate in, and like I just hope it goes well.
So I remember during your time on Drag Race, there was a moment where you got to share your experience with voting and being able to vote. What is your experience with voting?
My experience is that I hadn't been able to over the last 2 decades. After I had went to prison, once you get a felony here in the state of Florida, they strip you of your rights for voting. And Amendment 4 passed just like 2 years ago, and that allows you for restoration of your rights. However, there is now a mandate that you have to have your fees and restitution all paid off in order for you to be fully exonerated and have your rights restored. I think the last time that I voted was Clinton, 96.
A minute ago.
A minute ago.
I was trying to think back. I don't think I voted when I was younger.
What?
I know. I don't think I did. I'm trying to remember when was the first time I voted, and it's like, I think like in my 30s.
Oh, Mom.
I know. That's why it makes me so happy that the young kids are actually political. When I was younger, I thought, I don't need to know any of that political stuff. But now I think back and I'm like, maybe if I voted, we wouldn't be in this position with the Supreme Court right now. And that makes me nervous. And I'm thinking with everybody that's younger, if they would start now, hopefully when they're my age, they won't have to worry about their grandbabies and stuff like that. Because that's one of my main things is, are we going to go backwards?
During the time when you were not able to vote, what would it feel like to hear from people that said, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna vote this year? Like, what was the emotion you felt?
Anger, resentment. How very dare you? And then you're going to tell that to me of all people, like, do you not know? Oh, well, let me explain it to you. I don't have a right to vote. So the fact that you're not going to even lend your voice speaks volumes about how much you care about the state of this country.
So while we may not have gotten our way, at least we voted, because apparently about 100 million people in America did not vote in 2016.
What?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They walk among us. They are our parents. They are our friends.
Definitely not anyone I know, because it was like me voting for like Hillary and then everyone else voting for Trump in my family. So like my bloodline voted, but not the best way. When Trump got elected, the defeat amongst me and every LGBT person, I couldn't imagine what I would feel if I didn't vote. You know what I mean? Like I felt so bad feeling like we lost, but if I wasn't even part of the fight, I don't even know what.
In 2016, Election Day was my birthday that year, and I had to spend my birthday with my mom's boyfriend at the time, and I went with him to go vote. I was just like staring at everyone voting, and I'm like, I just really hope everyone's making the right decision, because it's gonna really impact the people that I know and like love and cherish. And evidently the next day we were all very sad. It just sucks, because you know that so many of your friends are going to be in pain by the decision that was about to occur, and like you can't do anything to stop it, because I was 16 at the time.
I get really, really sad every time I see him talk, because it just shows the kids today that it's okay to be cruel, to be mean, not have to worry about what you're saying. I think Biden, yeah, he's old. But at least I believe he has a heart that is being able to be touched. I don't think Trump does. I think Trump just thinks whatever he wants. Going to those rallies, especially when he knew about COVID. You know, at first I thought maybe he's just dumb and he doesn't realize. But when I heard the tape, I was so pissed off. I was like, how could he put all those people in harm's way? He just doesn't care.
Well, I was one of those people who was like, Bernie, feel the burn, give me Bernie. And then when we didn't have Bernie, I was like, give me Biden. We have Biden, give me Biden. And it's like wild how, not everyone, but a lot of people on my timeline are like, if it's Biden, then it's nothing, you know, like, oh, like there's no Bernie. And it's like, but we can't play that game. Like that sounds so great in theory, but it's like, there's no way.
You have two candidates. That is the reality of the situation. That is what we have going on in America. That's the sitch. So you have one or the other. Which one do you think is more likely to listen to me as a voter? Is more likely to take into account the type of ideology that I supported in Bernie? Maybe they're not perfectly aligned quite yet, but maybe they will inch toward you a little bit. I don't think Trump is the one.
No, Trump is definitely not the one. And it's funny because like, I just only have the queer people on my timeline, right? And like how many LGBT comments that I will get from people who are like, well, I'm queer and I'm voting for Trump. And like anytime I hear anything anti-LGBT from people that are LGBT and support Trump, it's them being like, oh yeah, like he didn't let trans people be in the military. But it's like, he's done so much more than that. Like why everyone's just grazing the surface, and it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know, I just watched the commercial today, and it was just like one commercial came on, and it was pro-Trump, and it was saying how Biden is going to raise taxes and da-da-da-da-da. And then the commercial right after that was, Trump is lying, Biden is, I'm like, okay, I can't. And the fact that if you buy into that, and I know that there are so many people who buy into what they see on TV and perceive it to be true. I learned that from Drag Race. Hello. So people are really influenced by what they see on the television, and you really cannot let that be your influence. Like,
absolutely.
You really have to have a mind of your own and do your research and get involved and really choose people who are going to lead us and get us out of this. We're in a state right now, a state of disarray and separation.
Are there specific issues that are really important to you that are the reason you're voting this time around?
I think one of them is the gun issue is very important to me. Women's rights is very important to me. And being raised Catholic, I was always, this is the only way you should vote. I believe that everybody has a choice and that maybe my choice is different and I have to live with my choice and she has to live with hers. And it's not my responsibility or my right to tell her how to live. As a religious person, I believe God would want it that way.
But just to clarify, you are pro-life, but you are pro-choice for each individual person.
Right. I'm not pro-abortion, but I'm not pro-telling you what to do.
So all year long, everyone's been talking about registering to vote. All year long, everyone's been talking about, okay, the election's coming up. But the most important thing is making sure that people have a plan. Knowing you have a plan and making sure the plan is like figured out ahead of time is the difference for a lot of people of if they'll actually vote. So I would like to know, what is your plan?
Mail-in, I'm not dealing with the COVID.
That's fair.
Well, I'm doing it by mail, like the physical voting aspect of it, because one, it's just kind of inconvenient right now to go out and do it, especially with the pandemic. But I'm also diabetic, so it's like I really have to limit my interactions with people. I know as long as I like send everything in on the deadlines, like it's gonna be fine.
You can actually track your vote.
Yes.
You can actually see online where it is. So I'm planning on getting connected in that way, just to be safe, just so I know that everything is good to go. But I think it's so important too that you keep talking about, registering to vote, because earlier this year, everyone's like, register to vote, you need all these things. And I was kind of like, I'm registered to vote. Like I thought I was good, but like my little trans ass came out within the last 4 years. So I've had a name change, I've had a gender change. I've moved like 6 times. I was not registered to vote. I had no idea.
Well, you can check that. You can update that. Now is the time. Was there mail-in voting when you were younger?
Not that I knew of. I think you had to be absent. I think you had to be out of the state. I never knew about mail-in voting till this time.
Yeah, it's really something that anybody can do now. A lot of states will send you your ballot regardless, but there are some states where you request it, some states where there's specific dates and rules for when you have to get it or send it in.
I'm not going to mail it in. I think I'm going to walk it to the voting booth because
That's what I'm going to
trust
do.
it.
Because I like the feeling of showing up, doing the thing, handing it in, knowing that it is officially submitted and getting my sticker.
Exactly. That's what my plan is because I just not trusting a whole lot. So I want to make sure that I actually put it in.
That's fair. Gotta do what you gotta do.
I wonder if I have to stand in line though.
Well, here's the thing. At least in California, if you show up with your filled out ballot, like if you got a mail-in ballot but you bring it in person on election day, you get to skip the entire line and hand it in right then and there.
Well, see, I'm hoping that that's the case here.
I bet it is.
My plan is to get up early. Where I have to go is right around the corner from my house. It's not that far. I'm trying to debate now whether I'm going to get slung up and let Latrice go up in there,
I would be obsessed.
I want to gag them so bad. You know what I mean?
If you could send a little message to all the people that have looked up to you over the years about voting, what would it be?
Okay, so for first-time voters, take your time. Don't feel like you're in a rush. There is no pressure. When it's you and you alone in that booth, baby, it is no pressure. So take your time, make smart decisions. Don't think about what other people and the next person is doing. Go with your heart.
There's just so much to know about, and like finding time to learn about every little thing is kind of frustrating because obviously we all live our everyday lives, but it's just so hard to like find enough time to just be like, I need to sit down and I need to make sure I account for every little part of this thing that I'm literally going to contribute to a vote for.
One thing that has always been really helpful for me was finding organizations that I love, whether it's like Human Rights Campaign or the LA LGBT Resource Center, and they usually put out like a voting guide. And so whether that's like a localized thing in your community, like try to find an organization that is in your state or in your city or made by somebody that you look up to. A lot of people do put out voting guides to help like break it down, take away all the like question marks about what you're voting for and really put it into terms that you can understand so that when you walk into the situation where you are going to cast your vote, you can do it confidently, you know what's going on, you know what you're voting for. If you need help, I will help you find a voting guide in your area, okay?
Okay.
As your friend, I will do that for you.
Thank you. You're the best.
Everyone's had a first time, breathe. Just breathe.
If you're freaking out in the ballot, just remember 5 G's.
Good God, get a grip, girl.
Why is it important to have that conversation, to have the talk with your parents right now.
You guys know what's happening. You can feel it. You see it. As an elderly adult, not real old, but your mom and dad probably want to hear why you think we should vote a certain way. Because a lot of them out there don't realize what's actually happening, especially if they're only watching a certain news channel. They have no idea.
Our parents grew up in this generation and they kind of tried to convey this message to us where it's like, oh, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about money, and you don't talk about politics. But it's like, no, we need to, because people are dying out here, Karen. Like we need to talk about these things.
Is there something you could tell those people that didn't vote in 2016? What would you tell them in 2020?
Your vote counts. So you have to vote. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just have to vote.
The fact that so many people are discouraged, they've lost hope and feel like that their voice doesn't matter and won't matter and it's not going to change anything because we damned if we do and we damned if we don't. And that is not how it works. You cannot sit back on your laurels and wait for somebody else to make decisions about your life and then you sit back and bitch about it. Like if it don't go your way, you only have yourselves to blame because you didn't do your part. And maybe your one little voice would have mattered.
Do you think that you matter? Do you think that the people in your life that you love, do you think they matter? It matters. It just matters. Please vote.
I guess I just say, like, do it. Like, what is there to lose? Like, if you put it in and it doesn't go your way, at least you tried.
This election is not just based on what's going to happen in the next 4 years. This is going to determine our trajectory for the next 20 years. So it's important that we make smart decisions that's going to ensure that we as a people, if you haven't seen the effect that the administration has had on this nation in the last 4 years, I don't know what other wake-up call you need. And I'm not saying get out there and you have to rally and pick up signs. No one's saying that. Just do your part and take the one day that you can make it everywhere else you want to go. You can make it one day to the polls. You know the date a long time in advance, so it's not like you got a schedule because you ain't got nowhere to go.
Let them know!
Your 3 nieces are here. Do you want to come say hi?
Do you guys think it's important for everyone to vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys heard it here first. The Queens of Michigan say, please vote. Latrice, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
You're so welcome, and it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of
You're a
course.
delight.
Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you for being you and for always being so sweet and kind
up.
and supportive.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm so overcome with so many emotions right now. This is crazy in a good way.
Well, take those emotions to Rhode Island. Get the job done, get the gig going, tell the people what they need to hear, do the work, because I'm counting on you. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Pleasure, darling.
Mwah.
Love you.
Mwah.
Bye.
I love you guys.
Hi, baby.
That honestly makes me feel a little bit better. If you have spare time in your day and you're like just looking to feel like we're doing something, to reach out to the people in your life and to make sure you're on the same wavelength about what we gotta do this November, it feels good. It feels like I'm doing the work that's necessary. And I know it's just like a few conversations, but those conversations will have ripple effects. So if you have made it this far in this video, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I have a little challenge for you. Go to headcount.org/Tyler. You can check your registration, you can request a mail-in ballot, you can register to vote, whatever you need to do, you can get all your info right there. And then open your phone, look at your contacts list, and make some calls, or maybe send some texts. You might be the reason somebody in your life decides to vote. Would you want to wake up November 4th thinking, I should have sent that text? Trust me, do it. That is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell button so you get reminders every time I upload a video, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.